Hello, hello, and welcome back to Let Supreme Ghost Thief Gold. After a little pit stop playing Morbid Curiosity, I'm now back playing the original game, and we're going to play mission 4, Assassins, today. One word about the Bone Horde mission. One of my trusted viewers, through discussing a little bit with him in the comments, I realized that I did take one extra bust that I always had taken, even in my original run years ago, that I never really, acknowledged or realized was a bust. It was when going for the Mystic Heart. You end up actually changing and turning off some lights when you enter the room when the hunt ends up spawning. And the light change there, removing light sources, is not allowed for Supreme, so that is actually considered a bust as well. So we took an extra bust there. So we're up to 10 total for Supreme. For the first 4 missions, that includes the training mission. So let's go ahead and load up our save game from the end of the Bone Horde mission. And let's go ahead and watch the briefing.
I had some money to spare after disposing of the horn, so it seemed time to invest in some new tools. Farkas is one of the few merchants willing to risk selling to an independent like me, and his prices are steep. But the other choice is to let one of the so-called city wardens give me orders, and take a cut of my profits. They've been after me for years to join one of their stables, but I'm not interested. Maybe they'll get the idea and give up. More likely, they'll just ramp up the threats. Nothing I can't handle if I'm careful. And lucky. And my luck seems to have finally turned for the better.
Alright, cool. So that briefing actually introduces one thing that is going to be expanded upon a lot in this mission. That is the city crime organization. The different wardens were mentioned. One of the main wardens is going to be our enemy in this mission here. Not from the get-go though, because the objectives don't say anything about them at this point. So the 2 that we have to start with is, now that you've got the finest in lockpicks, you can go after more challenging and lucrative targets. How about the local Hammer Temple? Get at least 1,000 loot. A true professional doesn't leave a mess, don't kill anyone. So this objective here will quickly change, as you probably know. And we are going to get a different goal for our mission. So let's go ahead and start, and I'll talk a little bit about that. This mission luckily can be perfect Supreme Ghosted, which means that we can adhere to all the Supreme rules and get all the loot as well. If you're not familiar with Supreme Ghost, I talked quite extensively about that in my first mission in this playlist, back in the training mission. But it's basically going through the entire mission, not getting seen, not getting heard, and leaving everything intact. Not even first alerts are allowed, and you can't change anything and leave any evidence, really, of a thief's passage. Each mission so far has sort of introduced a new element to the game. Remember that these are the first missions ever released for this franchise, and this mission introduces lockpicks, which is really the last major gameplay innovation that we haven't seen yet. So this mission will be heavy on lockpicks and lockpickable doors. Even though it's not in the Supreme rules, I always try to limit the amount of locks that I pick, especially if those doors or locks can't be relocked afterwards. Sometimes they can. Sometimes there's a key that can relock the door even though you've used lockpicks to open it. So then it's not that big of a deal. But if you can't relock them, I want to minimize and I might go through quite cumbersome tactics to avoid picking those locks. So even though that's the focus of the mission, I am going to try to limit this. We start with our lockpicks then for the first time. We also have lockpicking instructions that I'll read. We have 40 broadheads, 4 water arrows, 2 moss arrows. We also have our sword and our blackjack positions shown here. We're not going to use any money. We can't do that for Supreme. So we're instead going to go ahead and start the mission. I'm going to make a real save to begin with here. So we start in Farkas's shop, as was mentioned in the briefing. And in this shop you can find 3 flash bombs, 2 flash bombs, 2 fire arrows. No, sorry, 3 of each. 3 flash bombs, 3 fire arrows, 3 moss arrows, 2 water arrows, 3 rope arrows, 2 noisemaker arrows, and 2 loaves of bread. I'm not going to steal anything. I don't need anything of this whatsoever. We don't have any rope arrows available in this mission. That is interesting, since we've had those in Bonehorde, but we're losing them again in this mission. So the designers probably wanted you to focus more on the lockpicking as a mechanism and not combine it with other things. So as soon as we move or draw one of our weapons here, Farkas is going to get shot. He's going to get killed, and our objectives are going to change. So I'm not going to do anything until we're ready to sort of approach those new objectives. I'm going to read the lockpicking instructions first. Lockpick instruction manual. To use a lockpick, use and hold it on a locked door for a few seconds. The handle of the door will move slowly to the open position, and you'll hear a continuous clicking until the handle turns and the door pops open. If you hear only a single short click, try using the other lockpick. If the handle jiggles but ends up only moving part of the way, you'll need to switch lockpicks and continue picking the door. You may need to switch picks more than once. If neither lockpick works, it means that the lock cannot be picked, and it's time to go find the key. Note that you must be quite close to a door to pick it, closer than you need to be to open it normally. Alright, so let's see what's going to happen here.
That shot was meant for me.
Yes, I'm sure it was Garrett in the window. He's dead. Let's head back now.
These creeps are gonna lead me right back to whoever sent them to kill me, but only if I can tail them without them noticing me.
Alright, so we got some new objectives now. The looting of the Hammer Temple is now gone, so it's checked off, or crossed off, we don't have to do it. We have to trail the thugs who just tried to assassinate you without being detected. So we start in the area close to Newmarket, and we are going to eventually trail these thugs back to Hightown. And depending on difficulty and depending on some kind of randomness, the thieves might take different routes around the mission. They never move down to this southeast area. This is where we actually live. But they will probably go up east here and move either just straight across west again, or they might go around and make some kind of loops in this area. On Expert, they have a longer route than they do on Normal and Hard, at least on the Normal. So we have to trail these now without getting any first alerts. They will stop at certain intervals and look back towards us. So we have to hide on the way a little bit, even though we're behind them. We can leave the door open because that was open when we started. Save with regular intervals here as well. So of course trailing these we'll also get to see a little bit of the city, and I think that was one of the main intentions with this mission, was to introduce the world of Garrett. They took a left there. That's actually pretty good. It means that they took a shorter route. The problem with these thieves is that if they are in the act of turning around and looking for us, they don't give first alerts, but when they start walking again, they might give settling remarks. If they do indeed see us. So sometimes a little tough to be certain whether you've been spotted or not. I think these guys actually took a pretty decent route here. Not 100% though. I haven't memorized the layout of the streets fully. You don't need to ever return to the city if you play the mission well. At least not if you ghost. Might have gotten spotted there. Or heard.
Someone behind us.
Yeah. The sound propagation isn't 100% either. See? They don't stop and turn around at the same points. It's kind of random. So you can't always anticipate. If you get too far behind, you will fail the objective of trailing them, so...
So, these are Ramirez's boys. I think it's time I dealt with Mr. Ramirez once and for all.
Alright, so now we got a couple more objectives, and the one to trail the thugs have now been checked off. The Hammer Temple has now disappeared completely. Time to show Ramirez who the real criminal mastermind is. Break into his mansion and take what he values most, his wealth. The purse from his belt should make the point. Actually, interesting, this purse is the first piece of loot that we're going to end up taking in terms of the route I'm going to take through the mission. Loot the mansion for valuables. You need at least 2,000 worth of worth. Locate his prize silver fire poker. It's worth quite a bit. Get out of the mansion and don't kill anyone. So you might see that now we're in the Hightown area. Ramirez is one of the, at least as far as I'm concerned, 3 mentioned wardens in the town. And they sort of run their own crime syndicates, but they are divided into areas of the city. Reputo and Webster are the other 2 that are mentioned in readables, so I won't talk too much about them right now. But Ramirez is found in Hightown. That's where his residence is. And he also controls, as far as I can remember, South Quarter, which isn't shown on the map here, and downtown. And the Old Quarter will also be mentioned in a readable where Ramirez is interested in going, I believe. And Ramirez is sort of a part of the upper class of town, of the city. He is involved in gambling. As you might remember, he is owning the gambling dens that Baffords is partly responsible for. He's also into bribery, and he has connections with thieves. That's why, obviously, the 2 thieves that were trying to assassinate us work for Ramirez. We'll get some more information on him and his rivals as we go through, and that is one of the good things about this mission. It really gives you a feel of the city, its workings, its criminal underground societies, and how the wardens have influence in very important parts of the city and can sort of run their business as they see fit with quite forceful hands, as we'll see. I'm going to make a real save here, and I'm actually going to head back a little bit. And I'm going to grab one of these 2 crates right here. And I'm going to bring one of those with me for now, because that will enable me to avoid picking one lock a little bit later. And we're going to listen in my conversation here right now.
Jorik tells me the Hammers are gonna close down Craig's Cleft.
Yeah, he's taffing you. Where are they gonna put the poor saps they grab?
Dunno. Toss them into a well or something. Anyhow, they just don't have enough guys no more.
Kinda sad. Used to be the power. Now they're just a bunch of guys wishing for the old days.
Alright, so I'm not sure if this is actually true. They're going to close down Craigsleft, or if it's just a rumor. This is the main entrance here. We can go through there, but it's not the most discreet way in, so I'm going to choose a different route. Alright, let's take a look at the map, which is actually fairly incomplete and fairly crude when it comes to Ramirez's mansion. The other part is just the town. His mansion is 3 floors, 1 basement, first floor, second floor. So we are now outside in the southwestern region of the yard, or the garden. There is a walkway that is somewhat interrupted here with a couple of archers at lookout points. There's one right above me right here. So we have to be a little bit careful about that. I think there are 5 or 6 guards, though, that patrol around this entire area. I think they maybe go all the way over here. There's water on the east side, so they don't pass this area. After we complete our objectives, there are going to be 4 more thieves that are going to spawn. 1 in this corner, 2 out here, and then 1 right on the inside. So even if we can use the main entrance to enter the mansion, we can't use the main entrance to leave. So I'm going to move around to the side here and actually enter through the courtyard in the back. Or this is the courtyard area. So the guard I talked about, the archer's right up here. You can see him there. I'm going to leave this crate right inside a door here.
Who goes there?
So he sees me. Maybe I can go along here.
What's that? Who goes?
Yeah, I have to wait for some of these guys to pass. It depends a little bit on where they are on their routes. Actually, don't think I'm safe here. Should be safe here. This is a fairly easy mission. However, with me supreme ghosting and also worrying about minimizing lockpicks, it's going to take on a few different challenges that increases the difficulty level a little bit, which is good, I think, because this is almost too easy of a mission, in my opinion. I'm going to put this crate in here. We're going to need it later. So you can get up on the walkway there, but there's no real need for it for us. All right. This door is the first pickable door. I'm not going to actually pick this, but I want to show you a few things inside first. Here is a flash bomb and 2 mines, if you're interested. You can also head up here to jump over to this balcony and enter Ramirez's bedroom. But we're not going to do that because I don't want to pick the lock on this door. But I always like to show you guys everything the mission has to offer. Now I'm going to head to the courtyard. You see there's a bunch of other guards. I'm going to listen to a conversation in the courtyard. these guards are gonna loop around the fountain and then come back out. I think I'm gonna wait for them. I'm not safe here. This isn't a perfect shadow. The way you can tell that is if you draw a weapon and you light up, your light gem lights up, that means you're not in a perfect shadow. In a perfect shadow, it doesn't matter if you draw any weapon aside from a fire arrow. Not sure which way.
You're going to be assigned monster babysitting. The boss thinks his nasties don't get enough affection. You'll be down there rubbing their tummies. I'll quit first. See if I don't.
Then we actually ended up hearing that conversation.
Hello?
Alright, I did not get into a good cycle here in the patrols. So I'm gonna wait on this side. I wasn't sure what direction the guards that come out of the courtyard was going. Is there a guard in there right now?
Show yourself.
Yeah, there is. Okay. And one of the guards in the conversation is facing this way. So it's not easy to dodge him necessarily.
I hear you're going to be assigned monster babysitting.
What? Why me?
The boss thinks his nasties don't get enough affection. You'll be down there rubbing their tummies.
I'll quit first. See if I don't.
Okay, these two guys are gonna leave.
When are they gonna bring me? Hello? There's an intruder.
Oh, he comes in here on the way back too. Okay.
I hear you're going to be assigned monster babysitting.
What? Why me?
The boss thinks his nasties don't get enough affection. You'll be down there rubbing their tummies.
I'll quit first. See if I don't. Ha!
This was very inconvenient patrolling here by everybody. This is not normal for me to have trouble here, but to avoid first loads, we have to do this.
I hear you're going to be assigned monster babysitting.
What? Why me?
The boss thinks his nasties don't get enough affection. You'll be down there rubbing their tummies.
I'll quit first. See if I don't.
Okay, there we go. It depends a lot on where the guards are in their cycle when you get here, if this is an easy part of the mission or not. Yeah, I didn't think I would be safe from him. Oh. Man, this is terrible.
I hear you're going to be assigned monster babysitting. What? Why me? The boss thinks his nasties don't get enough affection. You'll be down there rubbing their tummies. I'll quit first. See if I don't.
Okay, we gotta dodge this guy. Okay, so there's a guard that's gonna come in here, at least one. Have to dodge him. Okay. There's a papyrus there that I want to read. The two doors you see on the right and left, and then this one, they're all pickable. But we're not going to pick them. However, they respond, all of them, to the courtyard key. So if you get a hold of the courtyard key, you can open them with the key instead of picking their lock. But if you pick the lock and play Supreme, you have to actually relock the door, and then you have to get a hold of the courtyard key. So I'm not going to go through those doors. Alright, let's read this. Mina, dear, it's not as bad as it seems. The sir isn't so harsh if you learn his habits. When he's upstairs, like the library, cosset him with tea and cakes and chat of the household doings. When he's in the cellar with his gold, though, don't dare bother him, lest he rings for you, and then hop to it like the tricksters on your tail. Lissy. So we learned that he has gold. There's also a cheese and an apple here. That he has gold in the basement. That is obviously valuable to know. Good, okay. Now we're inside. No busts. This is the main entrance, so this is where we would have gotten in, and this guard here faces and turns around. He has a basement key. That is a valuable key to have, but we can get into the basement another way. This door here is also pickable, and it responds to a key that you can find on the inside of that door. It's the storage room key. So if you pick that open, you have to relock it with the storage room key. There are two swordsmen patrolling around the first floor. They also, I think, venture into the basement that even maybe has a second floor part of their route. And they have two courtyard keys. So if you're looking for all the pickpockets, there are a couple of keys here that you can aim
I don't see why I should have to be the one down here in the cold and the dark and the damp.
We're gonna head right here, so west, once this guy turns around. Yeah, he's heading upstairs now, I think. Okay, we're actually gonna listen to another conversation right here.
I hear Grand Malden is gonna put in some hammer-built security.
With the gears and blades and all?
Yeah.
Big mistake. Come home, forget to pull the lever, then the missus gets chopped to bits.
That'd teach him.
Not to mention two guys with swords not getting paid no more.
Okay. Gonna save it here since I'm dark. So they talked about a Grand Modern. That is one of the nobles, I think, in the city that are trying to beef up the security in their house. Or in their estate, rather. We're going to head in here. Okay, so this is the barracks. There are a lot of guards in here, as you see. There are 5 currently. Many of the people involved in conversations will end up in here after they're done with their conversation. These are the 2 thieves that tried to kill us, by the way. They seem like they're very good friends. And we can move through this room. And we're going to do that and head into the next bedroom and then furthermore into the kitchen. Last time I played, these guys faced east, no west. Here's another guard with a basement key. And there's another conversation that's going to start here.
You ever go down by, you know, the barricades?
The closed areas? Not a chance. I hear the dead walk there.
I heard the buildings were evil spirit stone. They gobbled up who lived there.
What I heard, there's a different moon. One that takes all the light.
Won't catch me down that way.
Not me, neither.
Alright. So they were talking about the old quarter, actually. Alright. This is a courtyard key that you can take if you want to. And here comes my ghost challenge for this mission, which I don't think should be too difficult, but it's nice for those of you that are not that familiar with ghosts to try. What I want you to do is make sure you get all 6 guards that are possible to get in this room in here. So there's one more that isn't in here. So you got to trigger one of the other conversations to get this guy in here. Then I want you to enter through the door on the south wall, and I want you to make your way around the room along this wall, and then end up and leave through this doorway and out here without any first alerts. So I moved through a dark area on the floor, but I want you guys to move along the wall, so you have to traverse on top of the beds then, and make it out through this doorway that way. So it's an alternate way to cross this room. So good luck with that. Okay, so we're gonna move. Yeah, you see the slightest speed enhancement and our light gem flickers. Okay, we're actually going to try to get out here quite quickly now. Follow this guy down. Perfect timing. There's a bunch of food items in this room. I'll list those as we're on our way down. I'll read this first. Lazy slobs. If I visit my babies again, and again find that they have not been fed properly, I shall take the horseship to the lot of you. Horsewhip to the lot of you. The poor dears must be given live food. Their delicate stomachs cannot abide the smell of carrion. I am in no mood to hear of the shortages when my babies are starving. So Ramirez's babies are his burricks. He has 2 pet burricks. And they are down the basement as well. So in the kitchen we can find 2 loaves, 2 cheeses, 3 apples, 1 cucumber, 3 carrots, and a deer leg. We do not need any of that. We're going to instead follow this servant. He has a tray with some food on it. He also has a basement key. We're not going to take the basement key. But we're going to exploit the fact that he has one. Hopefully we don't bump into any guards here. He's got to see a chiropractor or something, because his posture is horrible. Lock this door open. Then we can close it. Alright. He is actually going to head into Ramirez. We're going to head the other way and see if we can find his barracks. There we go. I want to try to trigger a line that Garrett is saying here without taking any alerts. I like to get all the readables and missions, and I like to also try to trigger all of Garrett's conversations and lines. I think he saw me there, but I think we might have to go down into the pit to have him trigger the line.
Sort of a lunatic keeps these things as pets.
So I got an alert, so I didn't want that. I don't know why he isn't saying it, but... I don't know, we might actually have to get spotted for him to trigger that line, I'm not sure. In that case I don't want to trigger it. But you heard it. What kind of lunatic keeps these things as pets anyway? I'm not sure what the conditions are for triggering it, but... it's just nice to hear all of Garrett's comments. Let's head in here instead. Alright, so in here we have Ramirez himself. So we're now in his counting room.
Maybe I should send some muscle after the stone group. Think the taxes will get covered from the fund. Need to get Joff's leg broken. Can't defy me like that.
I don't know, I kind of like his idle chatter. That's not a conversation, it's just... Alright, so now he's going to call for the servant again. So we don't want to be here when the servant comes in, at least not over in that part of the room. In here, you have 6 water arrows and 4 moss arrows on this table. So we're going to take his purse, like I said, first. Oh, almost got caught there.
It may be time for me to move along now.
So that's worth 250.
Don't want to wear out my welcome.
And that triggers that comment from Garrett. And we have now checked off the most important objective very early on. At this point, the 4 thieves that I talked about have spawned around the compound. 3 of them outside, 1 inside. Isn't going to really be much of a problem for us right now, but it will be later. going to go around and take a little bit of the other pieces of loot in here. Some stacks of gold coins here. Total 300. Then there is a readable and there's 2 chests. We're going to need this key in order to open those chests. See, I don't know if I'm safe here. Let's see. Let's find out. I am. That's good. Alright. We took a readable from that chest. Let's read it. Reputo, Warden of North Quarter, Shalebridge, New Market, New Quarter. Blood sports, money lending, spy watching. Organization of about 20 subsidiaries. 50 personal tough boys and fire boys. Contact with Shamanovs. Shamanovs were mentioned in Craigsleft. They were the ones that produced or made the knife that one of the guys there broke at supper. And the Hammer Priest, I think, was complaining on the Shamanovs being shoddy craftsmen. So they are sort of a family, I think, that are known for their, craftsmanship or lack of such craftsmanship. Webster, Warden of Docks, Eastport, Dayport, Rooftop Breakers, Protection and Anti-Protection Services, Smuggling, Coin Faking, 12 subsidiaries, 60 tough boys, 20 odd solo contractors, strong foreign contacts. That makes sense if he's a Warden of the Docks. Victoria, Independent Fence, previously Reputos. Dominates include thieves' pawnage of exotics, medicinals. No known organization. Contact with second-tier nobility. Grand Library and Order of the Vine. May have warden aspirations. So, Order of the Vine here is maybe referring to the pagan order. But the Order of the Vine as an expression has not been used anywhere else, I think, in Thief Gold. Maybe not even in Thief 2. Even though Victoria's, Order of the Vine expression might make more sense in lieu of the Thief 2's story. Dorcas Goodfellow, Blackbrook Underguild Ambassador. Particular importable dominates include magical constructs, medicinals, and elemental crystals. The Blackbrook Underguild, I think, is another crime syndicate in the city, and he is then the ambassador for them. Other than that, I'm not sure of what this actually is referring to. Alright. Let's read this one. Willow Be Bright. Stone Market Cut Purse. Skimping on geld for the 5th time. Not worth the trouble. Public bounty of 200. Garrett. South Quarter Independent Thief. Denied cut 3 times. Sent Quince and Jack out to shorten him. Those are the 2 thieves. And this is interesting because the briefing told about Garrett being contacted by certain wardens because they wanted me to work for them, or us to work for them. And we have said no 3 times, and that was enough to trigger Ramirez's rage so much that he wants to kill us. Well, he chose the wrong target this time. Overlord's Fancy, Gambling Den. Check with Reputo. Is it his? Either way, someone's not talking to someone they should. So we're gonna loot Overlord's Fancy in the next mission.
Ah!
Oh, he startled me.
Would have sworn.
Man. His patrol in here is random, so I was hoping he wouldn't go that way every time. There, we took another stack of gold coins worth 25. Total 325. I have to replace the papyrus I took from his chest here. Can't place it back in the chest, so I'm going to place it on top of it. That's allowed for Supreme. I want to get all the readables, so that's worth it for me. That was not a good placement at all.
Odd noise there.
I wanted at least to be... there. There we go. Okay, so the key that we took, we're going to return a little bit later. That is a very, very useful key, because it opens every door in the entire mission that has a key assigned to it. So any that responds to the basement key, courtyard key, or storage room key, we can now open with this key. So this is sort of the master key of the building. We're going to obviously come back here later then to return it. It'll be one of the last things we do. Alright, let me see where I'm going right now. Let's see, I think I'm gonna go this way actually. Yes, that is where we're going. This door is also pickable, but it's responding to the courtyard key or to the master key then. This is one of the doors that lead up to the courtyard. I am going to lock block these two doors. And that you can do. Nobody notices these doors being open. I've tested that. So we're now pretty close actually to the area that we were in. This hallway right here leads to the kitchen and then to the barracks area over here. So we're going to head upstairs now. So now we've gone up in the northwest corner and we emerge in the northwest corner, obviously, of the second floor. Head around here, and we're going to pick the lock on this door. This is the first out of 4 locks that we have to pick in this mission if we want to get all the loot. This does not respond to any key, so we're going to have to leave it unlocked, but that's okay. That is okay for Supreme. Over here, there is first and foremost a hidden ring on the floor worth 100, total 425. This chest is also pickable, and inside you can find another copy of the basement key, which we obviously don't need. Over here on the floor we have 2 bottles of fine wine, we have 2 gold goblets, and we have 1 gold plate. Total 625. And then up on the mantelpiece we have a vase worth 100, total 725. And then over here there's another readable. Commissioner Denaven, I note with displeasure that again one of my tough boys has been taken to Cragsleft. May I remind you of the substantial donations I make to your office, such that I may pursue business unhindered by idle scrutiny? May I remind you as well of your predecessor's unfortunate end? The rivers are so treacherous this time of year. I trust that you will attend to this, and if the hammers are too difficult for your policemen, I trust as well that you will let me know. Ramirez. Okay, so again, we see Ramirez has a substantial amount of contact and power in the city to be able to even get his men to be released from prison. And even sort of threatening people of certain stature like a commissioner would be. So this is interesting. There we go, put that back. Alright, in the fireplace there is a diamond worth 100, total 825. There's also a hidden lever that will open this. Right inside we find Ramirez's fire poker. That is worth 200, total 1025, and it also checks off the objective of finding said poker. In here we can move along. We can see that here there are certain openings into adjacent bedrooms. There's also an exit to one of the hallways here, but you have to cut a banner to get there. And then this is a purse worth 100, total 1125. Head back down here. What was this? I'm gonna go into the bedroom. No, the bathroom. Alright. In here you can find 2 regular goblets and a bottle of wine. You can also find a tiara here. And then you have 4 gold candlesticks. Now, T-Fix actually adds something to these candlesticks that was not implemented ever in the original game. These now have an assigned light map, I think it's called, where they actually emit light as if they're lit, but they're not. So if we take it, we will actually remove the light source that they're emitting, which is not allowed for Supreme. However, I am going to end up excusing this bus since it was never included in the original release, and we're not using it to our benefit in any way. So this room never used to go dark when you took those. So I think that is fine. Those are worth a total of 200, those 4. So that's 1530 in total. Alright, this is the doors to the balcony, and that was right above the storage shed that we could pick the door to. These are also pickable doors, so I want to avoid picking those, so I came in from the other side. We still had to pick this lock, but anyway, one of those doors you have to pick if you want to get the loot, and you have to complete the mission since the fire poker is in there. You can also pick the lock on this door. We did not get spotted, but there wasn't much in that. Hopefully he doesn't see the door being open. No, he doesn't. Okay, and here there is a green vase. That's it. And that's worth 50, total 1580. There's nothing in this. Also gonna have to pick the lock on this door. There's the other guards. There are the 2 guards I said that carry courtyard keys. This door is lit up, so he might actually see that. No, he did not. Interesting. Alright, this is the room that you could see into through that painting, actually. So we were behind that painting not long ago. In here there is a gold vase on the mantelpiece, worth 100. There's a ring here, I think also worth 100. Yeah, total 1780. And there's a readable. Lord Ramirez, the reinforced walls and steel door have been duly installed about your counting room, but I must warn you that we cannot guarantee them against burrock tunneling. If you do not move these creatures out of the basement into a more distant area, we cannot be held responsible for the potential damages. Toll Camrick and Sons. This footlocker is also empty. This leads to the hallway where you could slash the banner and go through from the other side. Just an alternate access point. Slashing of banners is considered property damage and not allowed. Now we can actually look down onto the main entrance. And now you can see that there's an extra thief there. One of the only thief that spawned inside. The other three are outside. Okay, we're going to move along here. Listen to another conversation soon. I'm going to make another real save. Actually go across the hallway here without getting spotted. Amazingly. If you go slow. Those two are going to have a conversation in not too long. Alright, this chest is pickable and there's a speed potion in there. I don't need it. But it's there if you do. Okay, we're going to trigger this conversation right now. Let's see. Alright, this guy right here has a courtyard key, I believe. And let's listen to what they have to say. You're supposed to sort of enter through the balcony to Ramirez's bedroom, and you're supposed to hear this conversation before you find Ramirez, but who cares?
Peaceful, isn't it?
Enjoy it while it lasts, friend. His fatness will be back soon to make our lives miserable again.
Where is he then? I haven't seen him tonight.
Down in the cellar again, counting his loot. I hope he stays down there all night.
Okay. Go into this sitting room where there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goblets, 2 gold goblets, and 1 gold plate, 2 bottles of wine. All that is enough to get us to 2,055. Head into the library next. On the first floor here, there is not much of interest, except for there is a hidden entrance. Over here, I'm not going to use this because you can't close it afterwards. If you could, I would totally use it. This takes us down to one of the storage rooms below. There is a button on the inside, but it doesn't close it. You can get up here from the other side, so it's a one-way ticket, so I'm going to leave that be. Instead, I'm going to head upstairs to the library's second floor. Two candlesticks here worth 50 each, so that's 21.55, and there are 2 readables. Master Rendy, recall our previous conversation about untapped resources or sources? Can you find any precedent on going into the walled section of the old quarter? There's all that crap about walking evil, but you know how the hammers are. 10 to 1 gets there's all sorts of property, no known heir, free for picking without even having to pay gelt for lawful overlook. Anyhow, no rush on this one. Better to look into it on the quiet rather than rile the hammers or let Reputo or Webster hear about it. Ramirez. So here you can tell, Reputo, Webster, and Ramirez are the 3 wardens, so they are kind of hiding things from each other. The more information the other competitor has, the worse it is. Master Ramirez, I beg your attention. While, as you say, there is more certainly breach in the Dreckbone pit, my subordinates inform me that this is due to the encroach of hammer patrols among the patrons, and that my immediate Dreckbone comptroller, Ginny, has been unable to deal with the problem. Should this qualify as full breach, I must regretfully insist that the breach is on Ginny's part and not mine. I am, of course, happy to furnish all ledgers for verification. Lord Baffert. So this, again, relates back to the information we got from the first mission, where again the Drekboon gambling den brought a lot less income because it had been seized by the Hammers a few times. Alright, over here is the last lockpick we have to pick open, and that will grant us a ring worth 100, total 2,255. Can now head out of here. Now we can head down here. This is another pickable door, but since I have the master key, I can use it. This is responding to the storage key. There's another conversation we're going to listen to down here.
I thought Quince and Jacko were on watch tonight.
The boss sent them on a special errand. Some fellow he wants dead. A thief. Name of Garrett.
I've heard of him. Garrett. Known to be trifled with. That's what I heard.
Not anymore if he's had a visit from those two.
So they talk about Quince and Jacko then being the ones that tried to kill us. These two guys have storage keys. Storage room keys. I believe those are the last two pickpockets in the mission. So now we're in the southeast part of the first floor. Okay, up here is the ladder from the secret entrance in the library. Okay, this one I think has... Yep, stack of gold coins. 2280 total. This one I believe has 2 flash bombs. And there are 6 more stacks of gold coins here, total 2430. And a readable. Boys, while I appreciate your enthusiasm, I must point out that breaking legs is really rather inefficient if we wish our clients to be able to pursue their rather active lives in order to immediately repay their debts. I encourage your initiative in this area. Perhaps you might take a lesson from the gardener and his hedge clippers, who trims off one branch while leaving the rest to grow. And most of our clients do start with fingers to spare. Man, he's cruel, that's for sure. That was one of the guards that came back after leaving through that door.
Someone's been having too much fun here.
Whoa, what was that? He actually noticed that door being open on the way through. And here we have a necklace, total 2630. And in the next room, we have a bottle of wine and a gold goblet, total 2705. That's all the loot in the mission. Full loot. This is also responding to the storage room key, so therefore our key works too. And that one was pickable. This is also pickable. And can be relocked with, I think this is relockable with the Courtyard key. So if you pick these locks and play Supreme, you have to relock them. Now we're going to return Ramirez's key. I don't know if that was the servant or whatnot. Have to lock block this door. So now we have to do something. In order to return this key, we have to do something that we didn't have to do in the original release. But in New Dark, you cannot drop the key back
Maybe I should send some
onto the
muscle
metal.
to the stone group. Think the taxes will get covered from the
See
front.
that?
Need to get Joff's leg broken. Can't defy me like that.
Once you do that, it doesn't matter where he is in the room. In Old Dark, you could do it when he was over in that corner or over by the table. But you cannot do that right now. So we have to tweak this a little bit to return the key. I'm going to excuse this, actually. So let's see if we can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the key on top of the speed potion here. Move it a little bit further over. There. Like that. I know that is maybe a small bust. We're returning the key, and it's virtually in the same location. The speed potion is a little bit moved over to the right. Okay. So this was possible to do in Old Dark, and since they've changed it, since New Dark basically changes it because we're now on the Thief 2 engine, I believe that's what causes it. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure if he actually relocked the door there or what he did. No, he didn't. Wait. Okay, that's odd. He unlocked the door, but he didn't close the door. We can't have this. We gotta go get the key again and do this over again. That servant just messed it up a little bit. So. Yeah, I want it to be locked. Let's do this over again then. We gotta look a little bit more up, otherwise you don't get high enough to... There, that's good.
Maybe I should send some muscle after the stone group. Think the taxes will get covered from the fund. Need to get Joff's leg broken. Can't defy me like that.
Now I think we should be good here. Now we returned everything. Let me just check. Yes, we don't have anything we shouldn't have. That's good. Now we want to head back up here.
When are they going to bring me my dinner? That's what I want to know. When are they going to bring me my dinner?
Since we locked these doors, we can close them now and they will remain locked. Now we're going to head back. Same with this door. Not sure where things are, or where people are here in the stream of their route, but gonna head over here. problem for us now is to leave the compound, because you could do that by picking the lock in the library. I didn't mention that, but there's a door on the second floor in the library on the east side that you can pick open and then head into the water and sort of swim out of the mansion proper easy enough. But I don't want to pick that. I've already picked 4 locks. I want to keep it to those 4 because that door you can't relock afterwards. So instead I'm going to use my trick with the crate here. This was suggested to me by Shadow Dancer, so kudos to him for suggesting this method for me. And he found this method, so I'm giving all credit and honor and glory to him for this one. It's a very neat method to use. It's just to avoid picking another lock, but that is actually important to me. For Supreme, that is one of the things that set Supreme aside from other modes. So let me just show you. So the reason why we can't go just out here now, why we can't just leave through the main entranceway the way we came, is because there's a thief now in this corner. And he will see us and give a first alert. We don't want that. So what we have to do is a little trick. You have to get on top of the roof, basically. We have to jump up on this balcony, but we have to bring our crate with us. You can actually grab the crate as you're jumping. Might take a few tries. This is a difficult move, so... you have to sort of jump and then grab the crate in the process. I do not consider this an engine exploit. If you do, please let me know. I mean, engine exploits mentioned in the rules are more severe than this would be. This is just a neat jumping trick that I believe I have used in several other Supreme attempts with good results. Let's see if we can do this. That was nearly. There we go. Okay, now we're up on the balcony. This is Ramirez's bedroom. Want to do the same thing to get up on the actual roof. But that is not nearly as difficult. Then we went head all the way around. Sort of along the edge of the roof here. It should be dark most of the way, so I don't think we have to worry about these guards seeing us. And also there's no sound on the roof, which is good. If you go far enough down on the edge here, there is sound. So stay up a little bit. Now, obviously the problem is, not only do we have to get out of the compound without picking the lock, but we have to return this crate. And there's not a lot of time for us to do that. I'm going to wait for these guards to go by. There's another thief down here, by the way. The problem is that we will check off our last objective, which is getting out of the mansion, very quickly after getting out of the proper. So, or the compound. So we have to return this crate, and we're pretty much going to get only one chance to do so. Not sure if we can drop down here. We'll see. I don't think we can we? Oh! No. There we can. Perfect. These are the doors that I said leads from the library that you can pick. But now we avoided that whole thing. Just want to make sure I didn't get any alerts there. Okay, so I am now going to leave, and I need to replace the crate to where I found it. That is not too easy, so I'm going to get... First you have to mantle up the side there carrying the crate, and then you have to rush over and drop the crate on top of the other crate. I'm not happy with that one. It should be flat on top. I don't care exactly if it's the right angle or stuff, but it needs to be on top of the other crate. There we go. That was good enough. Perfect. So that is how we perfect Supreme Ghost Assassins. Let's take a look at the stats. Total time 49 minutes 30 seconds. Found 2705 loot out of 2705, so that means perfect Supreme. Pockets picked 1 out of 9, and the only one we picked was the purse from Ramirez. Locks picked 4. Those were all required. They were the 3 bedrooms on the 2nd floor on the west side, Ramirez and the 2 guest rooms, and it was the chest with the ring in the library upstairs. Backstab 0, knockout 0, damage dealt 0, damage taken 0, healing taken 0. Innocents killed none, and others killed 0. Campaign totals, time so far 4 hours 11 minutes 7 seconds. Loot so far 7797. Total damage dealt 28 and received 0. You remember the 28 is from the sparring partner and the training dummy in the training mission. No further busts added to this mission for Supreme. So we've taken 10 in total. Now, this mission I am going to give a little bit of a lower score than I think most of you would. I remember back in the day, a short time after the mission was released, a lot of people put this as their favorite mission of the game, which I have never understood. You know, no disrespect to those that think that this is a good mission, and it's not a bad mission. To me, it's just plain. It's not difficult, it's too easy, and at least by modern standard, it has not aged well. I think other missions in this game are much, much better and much more up to par with other missions released these days. So I'm going to give this a 72%, which isn't bad, but it's not on par with, say, the last 2 missions, Cragsleft and Bone Horde, or some of the missions coming up, which are just going to be stellar. Now, the good things, let's talk about those first. The city. Excellent that they're increasing the sort of the span of the city, that you have to trail the thugs through the streets first to get to Ramirez. Also, it gives you, through the readables, a very good feel that this is a universe. This is a whole different realm with characters and individuals that are tied together, and it gives it a very good feel of an actual city. With the wardens, with Ramirez himself, with crime organizations, and Garrett's role in the middle of all that. And we can sort of feel how Garrett is being targeted by these powerful families, if you will, or organizations, Ramirez being one of them. Also, you get introduced to the lockpicks, which is a nice element to the game. Perfect. I remember the first time I saw lockpicks and saw how they were used, I thought it was an ingenious way to just add to your options of tools. Not that you have to use it, but it's there. to sort of make the amount of different ways you can finish a mission available. So all that is great, but I do think, like I said, that it's too easy. It is a very plain mission. There are many rooms in the mansion that I didn't show you that are just a room with nothing in them. The basement, for example, is very, very big, but doesn't have a lot in it. And I don't feel the space has been utilized as much as it could have. I remember that they had to cut down, the developers had to cut down the size of Ramirez's mansion. Because it was the overall map was too big, when you included the city. But I don't feel that they still utilize the space that the mission has to offer well enough. Of course, the streets has a fair bit of detail, but I think they could have put a little bit more detail into the mansion, rather than the streets. But that's just my opinion. It's still a good mission, it's still a solid one. So 72% is the score I'm going to give it. Next, we are headed down to the Overlord's Fancy for Thieves Guild. That is a much, much more difficult mission than this. One of the most difficult missions in the game, in the top 3 at least, for difficulty. So I hope to see you guys back then. We are going to make a real save here. And I'll see you back in Mission 5 of the main game. Have a good night. I'll see you back then. Bye-bye.